The night of the 18th of September, 1932. Beneath the towering Hollywoodland sign, the body of a young woman was found in a ravine. On the ground lay only her shoes, a coat, a small purse, and a suicide note with 3 brief lines. "I am afraid, I am a coward. I am sorry for everything." The name on the letter left Hollywood in stunned silence. Peg Entwistle, an actress once admired by Bette Davis, once radiant on the Broadway stage, now reduced to a tragic shadow. From the golden days in New York, where Peg was hailed as the Golden Girl of Broadway, to her hopeful arrival in Hollywood, her career had seemed paved with roses. But behind the stage lights, Peg was fragile, betrayed by her husband, yearning for a great role yet consigned to forgettable supporting parts. When her film debut failed, when love crumbled, the Hollywood dream became a gilded cage. What drove a talent once celebrated as an inspiration for a generation to end her life beneath the very symbol of the American dream? Welcome to Hollywood Shadows, where the tragedies buried behind the spotlight are brought back with raw truth and cinematic drama. If you find this story compelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss other tear-stained legends of Hollywood. Peg Entwistle was born in 1,908 inches, Port Talbot, Wales. Her childhood was far from easy. Her parents separated, then her father died when she was still very young. Peg was sent to America to live with relatives in Boston, where her dream of the stage took root while studying at Henry Jewett's repertory. There, Peg revealed her natural gifts early: bright blue eyes, a graceful bearing, and a clear, resonant voice. In 1925, at age 17, Peg made waves as Hedvig in Henrik Ibsen's The Wild Duck. Her performance was so powerful that a teenage Bette Davis exclaimed to her mother, "I want to be exactly like Peg Entwistle." From small stages, Peg rose to Broadway lights. In just a few years, she appeared in more than 10 plays, alongside names like George M. Cohan, Dorothy Gish, and William Gillette. In 1927, Peg married actor Robert Keith, but the dream of marriage soon became a nightmare. She discovered that Keith had a wife and a 6-year-old son he had never told her about. The marriage, built on lies, ended within 2 years, leaving Peg bitter and distrustful of love. Her stage career continued, but the spotlight dimmed. Productions closed early due to poor box office, leaving Peg struggling for stability. In 1932, in the midst of the Great Depression, she moved to Los Angeles, hoping that films would change her fate. At the Belasco Theater, she performed with Humphrey Bogart in The Mad Hopes, earning modest praise. Soon after, RKO gave her a supporting role in 13 Women, her first and only screen appearance. But fate turned cold again. When the film premiered in October 1932, audiences were indifferent, critics dismissive. Peg's scenes were cut down, too slight to make an impression. The Hollywood dream in which she had invested her hopes dissolved into bitter disappointment. On the 16th of September, 1932, Peg told her uncle she was going to meet friends. Instead, she walked alone up the path to the base of Mount Lee. Under the moonlight, the massive Hollywoodland sign loomed a symbol at once, promising and mocking. Peg climbed a workman's ladder to the top of the letter H. In her coat pocket, she left a note. "I am afraid. I am a coward. I am sorry for everything." At dawn the next morning, a passerby discovered her shoes and purse at the foot of the hill. Looking down into the ravine, they saw Peg's lifeless body. When her identity was revealed, Hollywood shuddered. People whispered. The girl once admired by Bette Davis, once bright on Broadway, had chosen to leave this world beneath the peak of the Hollywood dream. Her death became an instant shockwave. At a time when Hollywood worked hard to polish its glamorous image during the Great Depression, a young actress ending her life beneath the Hollywoodland sign was a brutal reminder of the industry's darker side. Headlines blazed across America. Broadway girl dies beneath Hollywoodland sign. Desperate actress ends the American dream. Her short, trembling note, just a few lines, was printed everywhere, becoming the tragic symbol of broken dreams. Crowds, both stunned and curious, flocked to Beechwood Canyon where she had lived, eager to glimpse the house she left that final night. The Hollywoodland sign, originally built to advertise real estate, now stood as a grim monument to despair. The tale of the girl on the H became an urban legend, whispered through generations. Within the industry, the aftershocks were severe. Producers and directors grew wary of hiring young actresses, fearful of scandal-ruining studio reputations. For friends and peers, Peg's death was a warning about the crushing loneliness and pressure Hollywood inflicted. On Broadway, colleagues mourned a talent who once lit up the Wild Duck and Tommy. Bette Davis, years later, still spoke of Peg as the inspiration that pushed her to pursue acting, a testament that Peg's artistry planted seeds that outlived her. Her death also changed how the public viewed Hollywood. The glamour was no longer flawless. Beneath it lurked human tragedy. For many, Peg Entwistle became the first victim of the dream factory, drawn in by the light, abandoned when no longer profitable. Decades later, her story still echoes. In 2014, nearly 100 people gathered beneath the Hollywood sign to screen 13 women Peg's only film as a memorial. All donations went to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. In the flicker of candlelight that night, people sought to return to Peg the recognition she never received in life. Thus, Peg Entwistle's tragedy is not just the death of one individual. It is a mirror reflecting the fragility of dreams, the cruelty of fame, and the devastating cost of staking everything on Hollywood's shimmering promise. To understand Peg's tragedy, we must look at both her journey and her era. Born in Wales in 1908, she lost her mother early and later her father in a car accident in 1922. Orphaned at 14, she lived with her uncle in Boston, where she found refuge in theater. She joined Henry Jewett's prestigious repertory company and quickly moved to Broadway. In New York, Peg shone. Her role as Hedwig in The Wild Duck, 1925, brought press attention and inspired the young Bette Davis. Soon, Peg starred in Tommy, The Man from Toronto, and other plays with celebrated actors, hailed as one of Broadway's most promising faces. But her private life faltered. Her brief marriage to Robert Keith ended in betrayal and divorce, leaving her heartbroken. By the early 1932 with the U.S. crushed by the Depression, both theater and film struggled. Peg's plays closed early, and her only film opportunity turned into a dead end. For young actresses, Hollywood was merciless. Faces were easily replaced, and women judged relentlessly by looks, age, and personal life. A divorced actress with a faltering career like Peg was quickly discarded by the machine. Peg Entwistle thus embodied a generation talented and ambitious, yet crushed by economic pressures, social expectations, and the coldness of the entertainment industry. When she climbed the H on that September night in 1932, it was not just one woman's despair, but also a silent indictment of Hollywood's price. Her story is one of Hollywood's most haunting tragedies. From the girl who inspired Bette Davis to a Broadway star, to her death beneath the Hollywoodland sign, all within just 24 short years. Her end exposed the cruelty of the American dream, where human lives are sacrificed to keep the lights burning. Peg was not an A-list star, yet her death bound her name forever to Hollywood's most iconic landmark. The giant sign on Mount Lee, once an advertisement, became a tragic monument where dreams and despair intersect. Peg is remembered as both the actress of one film and the woman of one symbol. The meaning of her tragedy transcends time. It shows how fragile the line is between light and shadow. A cut role, a failed film, a broken heart, any of these could push a sensitive soul to the edge. Peg Entwistle is thus not just an individual's story, but a warning about the solitude hidden in a world that worships only the spotlight. So who was Peg? A victim of betrayed love, of a ruthless industry, or of her own unfulfilled artistic longing? The question remains unanswered. Welcome to Hollywood Shadows, where tear-stained dreams are retold with raw truth and cinematic drama. If this story touched you, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to discuss the tragedies buried behind the lights. Even today, when night falls over the Hollywood hills, some say you can see the figure of a young woman walking the slopes, her eyes lifted toward the faint glow of the H. It is not just the ghost of Peg Entwistle, but a lasting symbol of the terrible price of dreams left unfinished.